A Tale of Two Hygienists presents this week's TIPisode. Quick and easy tips to keep you up to date and presented by the experts in the profession. Now, get ready for your unofficial TIPisode.
So, y'all, we're back with a TIPisode from me and Andrew.
Hooray!
Yay! So, we're going to talk about this time getting ready for a mission trip.
Yeah.
So, get into it.
Hi, everyone. We want to give some tips on things that you need to do to get ready for a mission trip. Now, Michelle, okay, but for realsies though, Michelle and I have gone on multiple mission trips, and everyone is a little bit different. So if you have questions or thoughts, feel free to email us. We'd be more than happy to kind of help you, like specifically for the type of mission that you're going on, because there are going to be mission trips like I've done in the past that were CE related, and it was not high end, but it was kind of everything was taken care of for you. You just showed up, you did the thing, you wore scrubs, not a lot that you had to do. But then there's other ones where you're like, oh my goodness, I have to bring all of the supplies and all of the things, and their supplies lists, and that's Michelle pointing to herself on
And
this.
those are the ones that I do.
People can't see you pointing to yourself, but that's okay.
No, well, I didn't want to interrupt you, but yes, those are the ones that I do, mostly because I am joining a medical trip and bringing the dental portion, and it just requires a little bit more work on my part. I'm also going into countries that may or may not want us there.
Right, for sure.
So there's even things that I have to do ahead of time to like send in my serial numbers of any equipment. There's been a few times where I've sat in customs fighting for the equipment and trying to hustle my way to get like a triturator through, telling them my heart, it was my heart medicine.
So if I might give one of the first tips that we do for this, that is a situation that happens regularly. And this is not always going to help for every situation. But one of the things that we did for that situation was we were heading down to Guatemala. And that is a thing that either you get taxed on for some reason, or you have to bribe the officials or whatever.
Bribe somebody.
So what we ended up doing as an organization, well, actually it was the organizers did that, is they sent out ahead of time a letter from the Lions Club, who was helping, like the Lions Club International, who was helping sponsor the trips and with like translators and things like that. Then they also had a letter from the local government official, whether it was like a mayor type person. And they sent those to all of the volunteers ahead of time that said, in Spanish, please do not give these guys a bad time, and do not steal their things, and do not do these. It is not always going to be a case, but you put it right on top of your luggage that gets checked. And if they see that, then a lot of times they'll just let you go through, especially if you're traveling in a group. But that's also the second tip, though, is traveling in a group like that is a huge red flag.
It's a red flag.
You are more likely to get stopped, especially if you have all of your stuff.
Yeah. So the first time that I went on one, we wore T-shirts to kind of like keep up with each other because we're all coming through from other states and, you know, whatever, trying to find each other when we got to our like airport before we left for the big, you know, hop across the ocean kind of thing. And we just don't do that anymore. Now we walk through, we barely make eye contact, and we just kind of get through it. And that's it for, because, and then we also, especially when we go, actually we've done it on a few of them. We write things like praise Jesus and stuff on our stuff, because people are less likely to steal if they are religious in any way, even though they're stealing. They are less likely to do that because they think they're going to go to hell. So I don't know, there's some tricks
you
like
just
that.
get a big old Jesus face sticker and you put it right on the outside of all your stuff. And they are not going to do that.
Put it on the top of the box so they have to cut through Jesus' face.
They will not cut Jesus' face, probably. A lot less likely. You put it on all the tape areas where they can't see it. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Yeah.
The other tip that I have is that you need very little.
Yes.
And a lot of places, at least all the places I have gone, and you and I can really only speak from our own experience, and everyone's trips are so different, but I have never needed a hair dryer. I've never needed a straightening iron. Where I do end up washing my clothes there using the facility. Sometimes they hand wash it for like $2 a piece or something. So I bring some money, and I feel like it's also giving them work and trying to support the economy if I can. And I will like bring 3 pairs of scrubs. And on like Wednesday, I'll wash Monday and Tuesday. So I have for Thursday and Friday or whatever that works for you guys. I bring very, very little, no makeup. Like you're roughing it in some cases. I say that, but I've also been so impressed with the accommodations. I personally have not had anything super crazy. I mean, there's been bathrooms and holes in the ground. Like sometimes they're pretty rough. But my girlfriend KP is in South Sudan doing mission work with Doctors Without Borders, and she hasn't had a hot shower in weeks. So I feel like some are good, some are bad, but know that you can deal with very little on these trips.
No, yeah, for sure. I mean, and I would concur. It is nice to be able to bring some, little things like baby wipes and like something that's not going to take up a lot of things to get that pamper. I was just watching a travel video actually just the other day, and he's like, well, after 24 hours of traveling, just let wipe my face real quick just to make it feel clean, and it just kind of recharges you real quick. So something small is usually not that big of a deal. I have overpacked and I have underpacked on mission trips before, and I find that when I underpack, I still don't really seem to have a problem. So yeah, definitely that's a great tip to go little.
Yeah. I also would say don't skip on your shoes. I don't know about you, Andrew, but I've stood most of my mission trips. Occasionally I've had a stool or something, but for the most part, I'm standing up. So I wear compression socks and I drink a ton of water. I've gotten in trouble where I've dehydrated myself on a few of these trips. So make sure you are drinking a lot of water, compression socks, and good shoes. Because I have brought shoes that I was like, if I left them there, I wouldn't care kind of thing. And my feet and knees were killing me by the end of it. So don't, like the soles are about to fall out, whatever, you'll leave them. It's fine. Whatever your thought process is on that, don't do that.
Right. And there's actually been mission trips that I've been with who said, please don't do that, because then you're just leaving stuff in the country that someone else has to deal with. And that's just not a really cool practice.
So
and I mean, you think like, oh, well, these poor people are going to love to have this used pair of shoes, but they really don't. And they not don't. Helpful. So please don't have that mindset. And yes, great shoes. In the Dominican Republic with Somos Amigos, who we've gone with, or we've sponsored them before. It's rocky, hiking, mountainous terrain to get to and from the clinic every day. And so you want that. Plus I've stand anyways during all day, like my 10-hour shift, it's mostly standing. So that part didn't bother me, but yeah, good shoes. I would also like to say, before you go, research the crap out of the organization you're going with.
Oh, good point. Because some are good and some are not, and some are party. I've even heard of these like party organizations. They're like just jamming out the whole time. Yeah. So really you got to find what's going to work for you. For me personally, it's sustainability in the country.
Yes.
Going where I'm not just going to leave that person. There's a way for them to be followed, a way for them to seek care afterwards. So if it is an extraction, if something were to go wrong a week later, we're gone. Like, where do they go after that? If it's, some pretty crazy decay or something for them to follow up. And that's really, I know it's important to you as well. It's important to me. And I would have a really hard time to go with a group that doesn't have some sustainable clinic there that we could refer back to.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's exactly what I was kind of angling at, is sustainability, if at all possible. I really like the medical dental integration missions as well, because I feel like, how many times, Michelle, have you been on a trip that you're having these conversations with these medical professionals, and they're very wowed by how much the hygiene community really knows and what we can really do for people. And so they'll end up referring people back to us that they saw on the medical side that maybe wouldn't have been able to get dental care any other way.
Yeah.
And we've had it too, where they've actually escorted a patient over. Look, this person needs to see somebody, because it's that kind of a situation where Otherwise, they'd have to go back in the end of the line and maybe get seen, maybe not get seen, maybe have some sort of infection that doesn't ever resolve. So,
or something super benign like tori. They're like, oh my God, I saw something in their mouth. I think it's a tumor. And I'm like, oh, let me teach you a thing about the oral cavity. Yeah. So that's been fun too. I would love just to finish out with my tips, at least, about community service and volunteering even in your area. I'm not trying to talk down on these one time a year, situations where people have to line up and get their, access to care. In South Carolina, we call them dental access days. I think some are called MOMS. I'm not really sure what all the acronyms are. And those are fine and those are great. Like they serve their purpose. But if you're feeling led or in your heart to serve and give back with your skills as a dental professional, I would highly encourage you to look for a place where these people have a dental home to go back to. And I say that, for instance, with my particular clinic that I volunteer at, they have a place to go. So it's not just about getting them out of pain, doing that one-time service. It's about finding a home where they can really establish good oral health. And if they are in pain, it's not that they're suffering until the next dental day. They have somewhere to go, but it is free because we are volunteering. So if you're really led to that, I would just really encourage you, because think about it, guys. If we all did this, we would probably only have to serve one time a year, if that. You're already serving one time a year. So maybe you take a day off and you serve on a Monday, or your office sends a temp there or something on behalf of your practice. I really think that there's a way that you could even make this a marketing campaign. Like we appreciate our community. We really believe in access to care. And so we're going to send our, lovely temp Michelle over to, whatever the clinic is. I think that there's ways that you can make it happen and show your community that you do care about them and you believe in good oral health for everyone.
Mm-hmm. I think that's good. I think that's a good way to end the episode. So as this episode's dropping, I think I'm probably in the Philippines or maybe going or coming back. I'm not really sure when this is going to air. The purpose of that is to establish a dental mission in the country, and it's going to be something that's going to be a little bit different, a little bit unique. I'll be coming back to you guys, so tune in every week. I will have some questions for you, kind of sprinkled throughout, of how I'm going to create this particular dental mission. If you guys want to go and you guys want to volunteer and do all of that. But my last tip is, while we do a lot of international things, like Michelle was just saying, like you don't have to go big to help.
No.
So stay local if you can. That's all you can do. Stay local. But anyways, so thanks for listening to all these little tips. We have a lot more. I'm sure this will be a recurring theme for us, though.
All right, guys. Well, enjoy this TIPisode. Enjoy all the other ones. Don't forget to go and do any of the ones that have giveaways, like crown seating or mouthwash. And we'll talk with you next week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, y'all.
We hope you enjoyed this week's TIPisode. Be sure to reach out to our guest experts and let them know how helpful their tips were. Follow A Tale of Two Hygienists on Facebook, Instagram, and head over to ataleoftwohygienists.com and subscribe to our newsletter. You can also email us at ataleoftwohygienists@gmail.com and keep listening for more awesome content from your unofficial dental hygiene podcast.